Hello everyone, this is Anna, and thanks so much for joining me tonight as I make a card using the Birch Trees and Nordic Snowman stamps from High Hopes Rubber Stamps. I think this snowman is so cute in his little matching hat and sweater. Isn't he adorable? So I wanted to create a little scene using this snowman and the birch trees, and to do that, because the images are large, I wanted to actually mask off my snowman and stamp him in front of the birch trees. And to do that, because I want him in the front of my scene, I'm going to stamp him first. I'm going to stamp him in Memento Black ink on Nina linen cardstock. And using the Mini Misty with tack and peel adhered to the inside of the lid allows me to use the unmounted red rubber stamps in the stamp positioner really quickly and easily. This is going to allow me to ink up the image again and stamp it for a second time in the exact same place that I stamped it the first time, which gives the perfect stamped impression. Now, to create a mask, I've placed a post-it note that's sticky down the whole backside of the post-it note. So it's not just sticky along the edge, but it's sticky on the whole backside. I've actually adhered two together because I needed a little bit more length there for this particular stamp. So I've stamped the image, and now I'm going to cut it out along the edge of the stamped design. And this is going to allow me to create a mask for my snowman. So once I have that all cut out, I'm going to place my stamped image back in the Mini Misty, and I'm going to adhere my mask over top of my stamped snowman. So I'm actually flipping the Misty around, and I'm actually putting the piece of paper in the Misty the other way so that I have a little bit more working room on the left-hand side. I've also added a torn post-it note to act as a snowbank, and that's going to allow me to mask off the bottom of those birch trees that actually have grass at the base of them. Because I want this to be a winter scene, I want there to be lots of snow around the base of my trees and my snowman. So now that I have the stamp in the positioner, I'm going to ink it up and stamp it down on my piece of cardstock. You'll notice that I don't get a very good first impression. So by using the stamp positioner, inking up the stamp again, I'll be able to stamp my stamp in the exact same spot a second time and get a perfect impression this time. Now by removing the post-it notes, which are the masks, you'll see that I have a cute little winter scene with a snowman set amongst some winter snow-covered birch trees. I'm going to color the image with alcohol markers. These are Copic markers. I'll do my best to place the caps next to the image as I color so that you can see which color numbers I'm using, but some of my markers don't have the numbers on the end of the caps, so I'll do my best to show it on the barrel like so. See how the base of the trees now have snow at the base instead of grass. So I love masking. I think it's just a really magical technique that's really easy to do. You might notice too around the arm of the snowman I didn't get a very good stamped impression of the birch trees. I'm okay with that. You should be too. These are just cards. It is okay to have little mistakes like this in your handmade cards. I'm going to let you watch the rest of the coloring process, and I'll get back to you. Now that I have my image colored, I'm going to start inking the edges of my stamped panel. I get started doing this with some tea dye distress ink, and then I realize that I want to actually cut my panel down to a smaller size. I need to do this before I get too far along in my inking process, because if I don't, I'm going to end up cutting off a lot of that really nice ink blended paper when I cut my panel down. So I go cut my panel down, and then I can get back to ink blending the panel and let the ink from the brush catch really nicely on the outside edge of that paper panel. After the tea dye is nice and blended into the cardstock, I switch to Vintage Photo, which is my favorite color for ink blending, and this just darkens up those edges a little bit. To make all of the pieces of paper that I use on my card cohesive, I also ink blend the edges for any pattern papers that I use as well, and this makes everything look like it goes together. This is a really cute argyle sweater type of a pattern. It looks kind of like a sweater. So once I have those inked and ready to go, I also grab my white card base. Normally I would use cream, but I'm using white tonight. And to knock down the brightness of that white a little bit, I'm actually going to ink blend very lightly the card base as well. So now I've taken this white cardstock of my card base and turned it into something that's not quite so white and looks a little bit more cohesive with my stamped image and pattern papers. I'm also going to ink blend all four sides of this card, so the front, the back, and both inside pieces as well. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen me use the tracing wheel. This is my absolute favorite crafting tool, and I recently got a broken axle, so I've replaced that with a screw, which is what you see sticking out from the side. I am using my tracing wheel to add faux stitch lines around the outside edge of my stamped panel as well, and I'm going to add some little back and forth zigzag areas to make it look like some stitching accidents happened, and I think this adds just a little visual interest to my card. Kind of fun, isn't it? I added a twine bow to the side of my card and tied on a gold snowflake charm that has little gems on each of the points of the snowflake. I think that added a nice little sparkle to that side, but decided then to, of course, add a spritz of gold glitter dust to the entire card, and that gives the card lots of nice sparkle. So here is a quick look at that. And then I also noticed that I didn't color in the trees at the bottom of that sweater, so I grabbed my G85 marker and color in those trees, and then for the trunks of the trees I use an E18 marker, and I think that finishes off the sweater nicely. So the inside of my card has a sentiment from High Hopes as well. I'll let you go ahead and pause the video and read that if you'd like. And then I decorated the back of the card with just a piece of paper, same as the front, and that finishes it off. So thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed, and until we chat again, take care. Bye!